Yo guys, and welcome to a new video. Today is the official day that I'm gonna give you my final Oscar winner predictions. Alright guys, so in a matter of about 8 hours, if you watch this at European Central Time within the 5 p.m. radius, then you will notice that the Oscars will officially take place tonight, the official 97th Academy Awards ceremony. And I do have to say that when I first made my video about the Oscars, about the nominations, I had to say that I wasn't that surprised with any of the nominations that we're having for this category for this year. There aren't big standouts, I think. I still do think that. But right now, after having seen all the movies within the Oscars, or all the, in brackets, the important ones, I have made up my mind. And I do have to say that I took this year a little different than I did other years, because other years I would do this giant mathematical system of trying to figure out what movies would have more chance of winning. And I did that with looking at past winners from all the other ceremonies, and also looking at other predictions from some very genius websites that could do it. Today I thought, like, I'm just gonna eyeball it. I did look at the other winners from other award shows, but I did not look at other predictors. And so this is purely and basically my own predictions, what I think will win, because I have been doing this for 5 years right now, and I do think that I have a good opinion on what movies can win or not. With that being said, if you don't like certain categories, please refrain to my little chapter size that I put up in the comments down below. Not in the comments, but in my description, so you can always check out just the nominations you want. If you look at the entire video, thank you very much. Let's get straight into it. And as you can see here, we are at my Oscar winner predictions PowerPoint. It's a PowerPoint presentation by Mr. Sventastic. It's the one I used for 2022. I just revamped it for 2024/2025, if you look at it. The way this goes is still exactly the same as it was before, with an example, that I made. The 5 movies that are nominated for this figurative Oscar are Cats, Dogs, a shitty Buck Wild spin-off movie. I haven't changed that title. That was a movie I made for The Adventures of Buck Wild, and I haven't thought of a great bad movie from this year, which I thought was good enough to be on this list. I still hated Buck Wild a little more. Then we have the best movie ever made and Sventastic the movie. These are the nominations. I will talk about them shortly, and then I will talk about what I think will win. There are 3 things I have signed up for every single dia, and that is: Red is the movie I think that should win, my personal favorite of these nominations. The Fat Black one is the one that is going to win, in my opinion, that the one that I think will win the Oscar. And then Underlined is the one that would not surprise me if it won. Normally I gave myself half a point for that. Oh, it went back. Magic is happening right here. So Underlined is just the one that I think has a great fair chance of winning an Oscar as well. So let's get straight into the first 4 categories that I do not have an own prediction for, or not I should win, because I haven't seen any single one of those. So for the documentary short, we have Death by Numbers, I Am Ready Warden, Incidents, Instruments of a Beating Heart, The Only Girl in the Orchestra. Probably all great. Haven't seen any of them, so I only went based on what other award shows did and stuff like that. And for these 4 categories, I did look at other predictors, what they were saying that have seen it, and I made sure that I took a chance for it. And the chance I took for the documentary short is that The Only Girl in the Orchestra is gonna win. it had some love. And Death by Numbers, it sounded interesting, so that might have a chance too. I have no single idea for this. Same goes for the live action short film. We have Alia, Anuja, Another Robot, The Last Ranger, and The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent. For these ones, I nominated The Last Ranger as my predicted winner, and I have Alia as my presumed follow-up. Maybe that one has a chance as well. The Last Ranger, I looked at what these movies were about, and that seems like it might get some love from the voters. Yeah. The animated short film is something that is quite sad because the movie theater I am going to watch the Oscars at tonight was playing this today. But, well, I record my videos in advance and I had to work when this movie starts. So I will work, then I will go to the Oscars. And, well, they are playing all these shorts, but I did not have the time to go and watch them, because I have to work. For the animated short films, we have Beautiful Man, In the Shadow of the Cypress, Magic Candies, Wonder to Wonder, and Yuck. And if I look at what other animation things did and other predictors are saying, then I do think that Wonder to Wonder and Yuck are on the same level. And I do think Yuck will have just a slight bit more love than Wonder to Wonder. So I do think Yuck will go home with the Oscar, and Wonder to Wonder has a big fat chance of winning it as well. For the documentary feature, I was about to watch all of these, but then I just did not have the time, the money, and the energy to do it, so I skipped all 5 of those movies. I'm very sorry, I'm just not a big documentary guy. So we have the Black Box Diaries, we have No Other Land, we have Porcelain Wars, soundtrack to a coup d'etat, which is partly Belgian, by the way, so I kinda hope for soundtrack of a coup d'etat, and Sugar Cane. I nominated as my predicted winner Porcelain War. I think it's a movie about Ukraine, about the war in there. I think that speaks for itself, that will get some love. And soundtrack to a coup d'etat has been a good follow-up just because it's Belgian, so I have no idea for this. I do think Porcelain War has it in the bag because of what it's about. Then we have the original song, and as you can see, Emilia Perez is nominated 2 times for this, which I think is abysmal, because I am still more that only 1 song per movie should be nominated. I hated it with Barbie, I hate it with this. So we have El Mal from Emilia Perez, we have The Journey from the 6888, which is a movie I haven't seen, but I have listened to the song. We have Like a Bird from Sing Sing, which is a song that, even though Sing Sing is very, very good, I don't remember the song that well, so I had to re-listen to it. We have Mi Camino from Emilia Perez, and we have Never Too Late from Elton John, Never Too Late. And I always love myself some Elton John, so it broke my heart to not nominate it for the Oscar predicted winner. I put El Mal in there. I do think that Emilia Perez will have a very hard time at the Oscars tonight because of all the hate and the criticisms it gets. And I just don't think it is deserving in any of the categories, apart maybe from this one. The song, I wouldn't say the song El Mal is good. I can just say it has a big fat chance of when it takes an Oscar, it's gonna be this one. And well, people like Zoe Saldana. I do think I nominated Zoe Saldana somewhere else too. So if they take 1 Oscar or 2 from their 13 nominations, I do think El Mal has a big chance of taking it. The Journey, because of the movie contents, I do think it's a worthy follow-up. And because I just love Elton John too much, I would like for Elton John to win with Never Too Late. Following up with that, we have the sound category, or in my opinion, the most confusing category, because we have sound and we also have the score, which is a very distinct difference, which I know now, but I had some troubles with that in the past. So if you are dumb like me, sound is just for the overall movie and the score is just for the music in the movie. Not a musical music, just the regular score from John Williams, like they made the score for Harry Potter and stuff like that. Okay, so for the sound category, we have A Complete Unknown. We have Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez again. We have Wicked, and we have The Wild Robot. And I ultimately went for A Complete Unknown because its sound design is just off the charts. It's awesome, and it's also my personal favorite winner of these 5. If A Complete Unknown doesn't get it, I do think The Wild Robot has a fair chance of it as well, because that was also quite good. And I do think Emilia Perez and Wicked are not going to be picked or chosen for this category, because I do think Wicked will get it in a lot of others. Dune Part 2, even though I love the movie, even though I love the sound design, I do not think it has a chance in here. I do think that if they give it some love, it will be another category that we will get to shortly. For the international feature film, I also have to say that I also did not watch every single one of these movies. I watched 3 out of 5, and I think I watched the best ones out of them. I just watched I'm Still Here and Emilia Perez I also just watched. We also have The Girl with the Needle, we have The Seed of the Sacred Fig, which are the 2 movies I didn't watch, and then we have Flow, which I watched last year and also missed the first 5 minutes off because of fucking traffic in a city called Maastricht, which is abysmal during the Christmas period. If I look at these movies, I do think Emilia Perez will win this one, because with 13 nominations, it has to do something. And it's not going to win any of the important ones. So I do think, even with all the love that it got from other ceremonies, I do think they will give it to Emilia Perez for this one. I do think that the voters will acknowledge the 13 nominations for the International Feature Film Awards. I do think I'm Still Here is a worthy follow-up, and after having seen it, I hope it's I'm Still Here, because that movie, it broke me. That's insane. Then we have the VFX, and when I was talking about Dune, this is the one I was talking about. Alien, Romulus, A Better Man, Dune Part 2, and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes and Wicked are all nominated. We have 2 monkey movies, which I think is quite interesting and funny. I do personally hope that Better Man takes it, because that monkey in that movie was just insanely well made, and I really loved the vibe that Better Man gave us. I do think it will not stand a chance though. I do think if they give some love to Dune Part 2, it will be in this one, and I do also think that they will give the love to Dune Part 2, with Wicked being a worthy follow-up to that, because Wicked will get a lot of love as well. So I do think it will be Dune Part 2, and if because of some weird thing it doesn't happen, Wicked is gonna take it home. The original score is the music, as I said, made by the composer, and for this we have The Brutalist, Conclave, Emilia Perez, Wicked, and The Wild Robot. And I do have to say that for once, none of these scores really stood out to me. I do think Conclave, for me personally, is the most recognizable for it, because I do not really remember all the rest apart from The Wild Robot. So if I would personally look at it, I would choose Conclave or The Wild Robot. Let's check, and I chose personally The Wild Robot as my personal favorite. I do think Conclave will not have a chance at this, just because it will get some love in some other categories. And I actually chose Wicked for this, with The Brutalist at a very close second. And my reasoning behind this is that The Brutalist and Wicked have equal chances. But I don't know if the voters for the Academy Awards will distinguish the scores or the score for Wicked with the musical numbers of Wicked. I do think, because of those musical numbers that are a big part of the score, I do think they will take them into consideration, and those are very good, so that will bump it up a little bit. But The Brutalist, if they did choose Wicked for its score only and not for the musical numbers, I do think The Brutalist will get a bit more love from the Academy Award voters. For the production design, we all have nominated The Brutalist, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked. And for this one, it was quite easy for me, but I do think that a movie should win that will not even make a chance. I do think and do hope that Nosferatu will get some love. I think it should get the love for it, but I probably know it won't. I predicted Wicked as the winner for this one because that production design is just off the charts, maybe even a little better than Nosferatu because of all the fairy stuff and all the Wicked stuff in there, and it does look very well made. My cats are getting food. And then we also have Conclave, which I do think is a standout in this because it's so small. It's just in there. It's barely even noticeable. In Nosferatu and Wicked, you can really feel the production design and the production value. And Dune Part 2, you can feel it as well. In The Brutalist, because of the massive scope of the movie, you can feel it as well. Conclave? It's interesting. It's just in there. So I do think that because it's so barely noticeable, that it's something that is so incredibly good. And that's why I think that Conclave has a great chance of winning it as well, but I do think they will give it to Wicked nonetheless. I do think for the animation category, I'm gonna make a lot of my fans or a lot of my viewers very angry because I do think that if we look at these movies, Flow, Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, and The Wild Robot, I do think that out of all 5 of these movies, Wallace and Gromit does not stand a single freaking chance. Of course, it won for The Curse of the Were-Rabbit, and that was highly deserved. I just do think that 3 out of these 5 movies are more deserving and more creative than the Vengeance Most Foul was. And I say that purely because Vengeance Most Foul, we've seen claymation. It's awesome. We've seen claymation like that before, so maybe we can do something different with the claymation. We have 2 claymation movies in this category, and that's Memoir of a Snail and Wallace and Gromit. I do think if one of these movies is gonna win, I do think it's Memoir of a Snail, and I actually personally hope Memoir of a Snail will take it home. It's very depressing, and I do think it's a little more gritty than Wallace and Gromit was. Not that Wallace and Gromit is gritty, because that's just wholesome. Memoir of a Snail did it in another way, made it very slow, made it very personal. I really felt this movie, so I do think that Memoir of a Snail, or I do hope that it will get it, but I don't think it will get enough of the love from the Academy, because I do think that Flow will take that one home, especially because they also nominated Flow in some other categories, like, did they nominate it for Best International Feature Film? I actually already forgot, just talked about it, look back at it. They nominated that movie for some other categories as well. So I do think Flow will get this one. It's a walk in the park. For hair and makeup, I actually do think that 4 out of 5 movies really do deserve it, apart from Emilia Perez, which I just think is not that special. We have A Different Man with Sebastian Stan, we have Nosferatu, The Substance, and Wicked, and I do think The Apprentice should have been there instead of Emilia Perez, because they managed to put up Donald Trump's hair that well on Sebastian Stan. All jokes aside, I do think that The Substance will win this, and I do think it is highly deserving of that one as well. It's just so incredibly good, and especially in the third act, which completely threw me off, which I absolutely did not love like I loved the rest of the movie. I do think the hair and makeup in that is quite insane, and I do think that's the main reason that The Substance will be the winner for this, and it will not even be a close race. But I also put A Different Man up there because I do think out of these 5 movies, A Different Man has the second best chance at winning it. For costume design, we have a complete unknown. We have Conclave, Gladiator 2, Nosferatu again, and Wicked. And I can already tell you, Nosferatu is not gonna go home with an Oscar. So I do think Wicked will take it, and I do think if we look at the costumes, Wicked is a little more deserving than Nosferatu in my personal opinion, because in Wicked they had to go full fantasy, and in Nosferatu they just had to go old, which is also very impressive, and the costumes and they used were incredible. I just think it's for Wicked. It's a walk in the park, it's a cat in the bag, it's a definite win, and well, Gladiator 2 is just there because I do think that one deserves it as well. Even though that one is also just old, but they made it very well. For the adapted screenplay, I have A Complete Unknown. For the adapted screenplay, the Academy awarded a nomination to A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Emilia Perez, Nickel Boys, and Sing Sing. And I do have to say that out of all of these screenplays, I absolutely love 3. I am still interested in why Emilia Perez gets so many nominations, and we have Nickel Boys, which is also a Best Picture nomination. So I watched it, I was very hyped for it, and I absolutely hated every single second about it. It's just not really my movie. It's absolutely not my cup of tea. I respect it. I do understand why it gets so much love, but it just wasn't made for me. I really disliked that first person POV, so that one is not getting any love from me for this category. But I do think Sing Sing will have a great chance, and I do hope that Sing Sing will get that chance, because I do think Sing Sing is incredibly well made. But I do think this will be a walk in the park for Conclave, because Conclave is gonna get a lot of love in the most important categories. I am most certain of it. So I do think that they will aid with that notion within the adapted screenplay, and Conclave is gonna get this one to take home. For the original screenplay, we have Anore, we have The Brutalist, A Real Pain, September 5, and The Substance. Out of all of these 5, I do think September 5 is the least deserving. I do not think it will get the love for the original screenplay. I do think Anore will take it, and I do hope Anore will take it, because I just love Anore with my entire body and my entire heart, and Anore has been getting a real lot of love, and I do love Sean Baker, and I do think that they will give the love to the most important categories to Anore as well. But if in some universe Anore doesn't win it, it's gonna go to The Brutalist. Absolutely, no question about it. The others do not stand a chance for this one. For the editing, we have Anore, The Brutalist, Conclave, Emilia Perez again, and Wicked. And for this one, I chose Conclave as my winner, because in this category as well, it's just not that noticeable. It's just that good. It's just that in there. Is just a movie that you experience, another movie that you watch and see all the details in. It's a movie that's on your mind, it's a movie that leaves your mind, it's a movie that is just there, which is perfect for it. I do think if Conclave doesn't win it, that Anore will win it. That's very cute. And I do hope Anore will win it as well, because Anore is just that insanely well made of a movie. For the cinematography, we have The Brutalist, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, Maria, and Nosferatu, and I do think it's a walk in the park again. It's gonna go to The Brutalist, and I do hope that Nosferatu, if it will take one, I do hope it will take the cinematography, but I do think it doesn't stand a really good chance, because yet again it's a horror movie, and I was actually really surprised that they nominated the Nosferatu movie for like 3 categories. Hello, are you welcoming me in my categories? All right, so I do think The Brutalist has it in its pockets. I really do think that no other movie has a great chance of winning this. But if I have to choose a movie for this, that is going to be my presumed second follow-up. It's going to be Maria. I do think Maria, it has some chances of winning. Beware of my cat behind me, and well, now we go to the 6 most important categories within the Oscars. And first we go to the supporting actress. We have Monica Barbara for A Complete Unknown, Ariana Grande for Wicked, Felicity Jones for The Brutalist, Isabella Rossellini for Conclave, and Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez. And out of these ones, I can say one thing for absolute sure. Ariana Grande is not gonna become an Oscar-winning celebrity. Sorry, she's not gonna win it. She has no chance for this. She was very good. She has no chance for this. Just saying. What I do think is that Zoe Saldana will take it, because Zoe Saldana has been getting some love for Emilia Perez, and even though I don't like the movie, especially not like everyone else in the world, Zoe Saldana will get the praise. I do think that. And if she's not getting the praise, I do think it will go to Felicity Jones, because that performance was also really, really good. But my personal favorite for this category would be Monica Barbaro for A Complete Unknown. She was just insanely good, and I loved her in every single second of that movie. So I do think it is a cat in the bag for Zoe Saldana, but I do hope Monica Barbaro will take it, but I don't think she's chance stands against Felicity and Zoe Saldana. For the supporting actor, we have Yura Borisov for Anore, Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain, Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist, and The Apprentice has Jeremy Strong in there. And I think Yura Borisov is the most interesting one, because I did not really expect him to be there. I did expect Mikey Madison in the Best Actress. I did not expect him to be there as well. But I do think he doesn't stand a chance again, because I do think this is a walk in the park for Kieran Culkin, the guy that almost quitted on this movie 2 weeks before because he wanted to spend more time with his children. Sometimes you just have to ditch your children and make an Oscar-winning movie, my friends. So Kieran Culkin is gonna get this Oscar. He's gonna win it. I am certain of it. There is no chance about it. No question about it. He's gonna get the love. And if he isn't, it's gonna be Edward Norton, I think. I do think Guy Pearce and Jeremy Strong all have a great chance. I do think Jeremy Strong has the least chance of the 4 if we don't count Yura Borisov. But I do think, and on a personal touch, I do think Edward Norton will be the follow-up for this one. But it's gonna go to Kieran Culkin. And that's something I never saw happening. The brother from Kevin from Home Alone getting an Oscar for A Real Pain. Love that for him. Then we have the Best Actress, Cynthia Erivo for Wicked. Absolutely no surprise. Carla Sofia Gascon for Emilia Perez. No surprise. Anore, Mikey Madison. Absolutely no surprise. Demi Moore for The Substance. Absolutely no surprise. And Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here. A little bit of a surprise, because it's an international movie. I do understand why she's there, and I do appreciate that she's there. I do not think she has a chance for it, but I am really happy for her to be there. I do think Cynthia Erivo also does not stand a chance for this one. Maybe next year, but not this one, because it will be a really tight fight for this one. It's a one that's going to be in the middle again, and I do think the battle will be between Demi Moore and Mikey Madison. And I really do hope Mikey Madison will take it, but I do think they're gonna give it to Demi Moore eventually. Mikey Madison has been getting some love from the awards shows, but Demi Moore, it's just the more obvious option for this. I do think she has the most chance for it, but I kind of hope it will be Mikey Madison. And if it will not be Mikey Madison, well, then it will be Demi Moore. And if it's not Demi Moore, it will be Mikey Madison. And I do hope Mikey Madison will take it in a surprise twist from the Oscars. For the Best Actor, we have Adrien Brody for The Brutalist, Timothée Chalamet for A Complete Unknown, Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing, Ralph Fiennes for Conclave, and Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice. And as much as I love Sebastian Stan, and he won the Golden Globe for his work in A Different Man, and he did give a shout out to his work in The Apprentice, I do not think he will stand a chance, but I do hope for him that he will take it. I do think Ralph Fiennes is the most obvious runner-up, but there is no question about it. I do think that this one is very easy to see what this one will become, and it's going to be Adrien Brody. There's no question about it. Adrien Brody will take this one home. He has been getting a lot of love, and it is well deserved. The Brutalist, I personally didn't love it, but I do understand why everyone is getting so much love for this movie, and I do think Adrien Brody is just the most obvious option for it. And then we have the holding hands categories, the best director, and up next we have best picture. For the best director, we have Anore, Sean Baker, we have Brady Corbett for The Brutalist, James Mangold from Logan and the fifth Indiana Jones movie for A Complete Unknown. We have Jacques Audiard for Emilia Perez, and we have Coralie Forgat for The Substance. And I do think there is no question for this as well. This one is definitely going to go to Sean Baker for Anore, which I think will be highly deserved and highly logical to do so. If he won't win it, I do think it will go to Coralie Forgat for The Substance. That one has been getting some love as well, but I do think there's just no doubt about it that it will go to Anore. And then we have arrived to the most important category of this award season and every single award season. And we have Best Picture. We have Anore. We have The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys Again, The Substance, and Wicked. I can already tell you all the movies that will not stand a chance, and those are Wicked, Nickel Boys, I'm Still Here, Emilia Perez, Dune Part 2, and A Complete Unknown. Those 6 are off the board, will not win anything. As a runner-up to that, I do think The Substance and The Brutalist have a little bit more chance of winning the Oscar, but I do not think they will get it. What I personally think is that it's going to be a tie between Conclave and Anore, and I do think, and I do hope in some twists, I think that Conclave has the biggest chance, and I think Conclave is the most obvious choice, and I do think Conclave will get the most love. So I went for Anore. I really think that there might be a twist in this Oscar award season and that they will not give it to Conclave, that they will give Conclave a lot and then give Best Picture to Anore, which will be a twist. But I do hope it's going to be that twist. I do hope they're going to give it to Anore, and I do think that we are living in a good world where Anore will take this home. Conclave, it's really good. Wasn't my personal favorite, but it's really, really good. And I do understand why it's in there. I do think it has the biggest chance of it still to this day. But even though I still nominated or I predicted Anore is my presumed winner. So yeah, that was it, as you can see. So what do you guys think? Which movie do you think will go home with the Oscars tonight? Please let me know in the comments down below, because I'm really excited to hear your opinions on my predictions and maybe even your predictions. What movies do you think got snubbed in the nominations? And if you have seen the Oscars already, what movies do you think got snubbed of an award? Please let me know in the comments down below. I'm really excited to hear your opinion on it. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.